first district director of District 116 and our speaker, trainer for today, distinguished Toastmaster Rajeswar Sundaresan. Past district directors, distinguished Toastmaster Raghavan Menon. Immediate past district director, distinguished Toastmaster Thairan Kailai Pillai. The trio who holds the credit of taking our district to top of the world, being the #1 district in the world for 3 years. District Program Quality Director, distinguished Toastmaster Rajesh Vizi. A District Club Road Director, Toastmaster Ravi Shankar J. All our dynamic division directors, amazing area directors, club officers, and most importantly, our club members who have joined the District 116 this evening to be transformed to a better person through this session. A very, very good evening to all of you. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence is then not an act, but a habit. We all know Qatar as a nation is now the focus of attention among the world and the other countries. District 116 in Toastmasters is not different either. It's also on focus by the Toastmasters around the world. You know, District 116 is a case study for the other districts. They wanted to find out the secret behind our success rate. Not just 1 year, not just the second year, not just the third year, but 3 years in a row, being a medley distinguished district and being the #1 district in the world. That too, right from the year our district was formed as a separate one, departing from the other countries in Middle East. As we say, nothing comes easy. So is excellence. It is all the learning, empowerment, training that we had in District 116. So we create the best of the best leaders, members, clubs, areas, division, and district. The leaders who served our members in District 116 always focused on creating the best practices through similar sessions. We have had many similar events inviting the international presidents of Toastmasters International. We had many international directors, regional advisors invited to our sessions, and also the world champions of public speaking. All these many months throughout. Now, when others complained of pandemic, we complimented and the best out of these difficult times. In fact, District 116 never, ever had an issue of the pandemic saying, we are going through a tough time. It's not just the leaders, but it's the members of our District 116. Now today, we have about 63 members attending the session on a Saturday. We know the last couple of days we had many district events, including the District Gavels Club contest. And today, as mentioned by a couple of division directors, they had the area conference meeting, different club meetings happening, which they didn't want to change, and we respect and appreciate. Still, we have many more members who have come forward to attend, take part in the session, and learn from a very special person in my life, because he is my personal mentor in Toastmasters. With that, I welcome each one of you to this district training session of District 116, and I declare the session open. We say, though for a formality, that this person needs no introduction. And for Rajeswar Sundaresan, it's very true. He needs no introduction in Toastmasters when it comes to District 116. Every member, every club, every leader, probably even the Cavaliers know him. However, as a district, it's our protocol and it's an honor that we introduce today's lead trainer, distinguished Toastmaster Rajeswar Sundaresan. Now, I've always enjoyed inviting and introducing this gentleman. But today, our program quality director, Rajesh, told me, Manzoor, please, you have been doing this, all these years. Now, today, it's my day. So let me invite our District 116 program quality director, distinguished Toastmaster Rajesh VC, to invite and introduce our lead trainer for the day. Rajesh, the virtual screen is yours.
Thank you, District Director. I thought all these introductions were for me. Later on, I saw Rajeswar Sundaresan laughing. You made my day. I would have told you, but you did not make my day. You made Rajeswar's day. Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Manzoor Moideen. District Director, distinguished Toastmaster Manzoor Moideen. Club Growth Director, Toastmaster Ravi Shankar. World #1 District Directors, distinguished Toastmaster Rajeswar Sundaresan, our trainer today. Raghavan Menon, Sayalan Kailaya Pillai. Division Directors, Area Directors, fellow Toastmasters, good evening. Change and challenges are inevitable. Learning to adapt change is an art. That is what I believe. And upskilling to limit the challenges is a science. To learn the science, we have a topic raised to the challenge. And this topic would be presented by a man who is so credible with impeccable records. He is director on the board of internal auditors of Qatar chapter and also on the global board. He is a thought leader for over 10 years. The chartered accountant by profession. I don't know how many records he has. Since this profession says it's a chartered accountant, it speaks only about numbers, and he has number of records with. Coming to Toastmasters, he has been past finance manager of District 20, past program quality director of District 20, and he is the first district director of District 116, the world #1 district. Put your hands together to welcome distinguished Toastmaster Rajeswar Sundaresan. The time for the session is 30 minutes. We have a 15 minutes question answer session. Distinguished Toastmaster Sabina would be the question answer host. Please send your question answers over the chat to distinguished Toastmaster Sabina. Let us now hear from distinguished Toastmaster Rajeswar Sundaresan.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, PQD, for such a nice introduction. First time I'm hearing from PQD Rajesh as PQD Rajesh. Today's topic, rising to the challenge, is a phrase most of you would have heard many times in last 18 months or even before. Because rising to a challenge is a positive phrase loaded with a lot of optimism. And optimism means it's a true moral courage. This is the word from Sir Ernest Shackleton. Is one of the most well-known writer and philosopher. He says that, if you look for optimism, it's something like an optimism in the face of particularly reverses, that is the best thing a human being can do. So it is rising to the challenge is something which should be learned and practiced. When District 116 PQD, Rajesh VC called me for this, had a conversation related to this training session, the same coincidentally on the very same day, I received a award from the Institute of Internal Auditors Global for looking out for during the tough times of the COVID, coming out supporting the profession. And that particular badge or an award is called Rising to the Challenge. And immediately what I felt was, compared to a professional association where I'm asked to support the profession, something much more relatable, much more stronger is a case with the Toastmasters. There cannot be better example than District 116 Qatar, where we faced challenge. We surmounted them successfully and retained preeminent position as the best district for 3 years in a row. Now I'll go for my presentation. If people can see that?
Yes.
Okay. The Rising to the Challenge I just explained to you. Now, if you look at what does it mean in a technical way, if someone rises to the challenge, they respond to a difficult situation that is new to them and are successful. Meaning, there are keywords which I highlighted. This means they rise to the challenge, they respond in a rise to a challenge which is difficult, that is new because they never heard of it before, and they rise and responded and become successful. So it is the key words. If you look at the synonyms of this particular phrase, rise to the occasion, meaning sign up. Rise to the occasion means you sign up. You step forward. It's a takeover. Like you become somebody, club treasurer is not there, you take over. That means you step up. That's also rise to the challenge. You step up as a volunteer. Then you take upon yourself. That is the ultimate level of you submit oneself to the task. Suppose we want for district, Toastmasters annual conference, we need some volunteer to take up a particular task. He takes the complete responsibility. That means he take upon yourself. So again, it's all rising to the challenge. So that one thing the pandemic taught, if at all there is one thing the pandemic taught, that is a dramatic change can happen anytime with the blink of an eye. Almost 100 years of Toastmasters, we've never faced a situation which could prove to be an existential crisis. And today, as I was listening to a financial news, I heard one of the biggest companies from China called Evergrande, having 50 billion as the share value capitalization, is today valued at 4.9 billion. Again, it was a cause of because they were not of pandemic, because they were not able to sell the properties which they built. I had a habit of reading financial news and read a lot about the lady who is at the helm of this company. And she's a big story of rags to riches and how she built the whole empire. So it is all, anything could happen anytime when a situation like this comes. But what is important is how are we rising to challenge? So let's see what is that content for today. Three things. One is, what is the new environment? Okay, what is the new environment? Second is, how do the novel road, what road to excellence we have taken to surmount all this, the new environment, and come up with new things. And the third thing is the next step to progress. Now, may I request our RT manager to send the first opinion polling question, please. Can you send the polling question?
Yes, yes, there are polls.
Yeah. Yes, yes.
First polling question 1, please.
Yeah, sure.
This is a training rising to the challenge. What do you expect the content? Whether it's leadership, educational, pandemic fallout, or all the above. I'm saying leadership is on the top of 45%. Oh, no, all the above also count 50%. It's something like a cricket score today. Both are very close to each other. Okay, we can close, we can end the poll. Share that. Okay, it shows all the above is 50% in leadership. This was also my answer. So can you close the results, please?
Yes. Do I need to share the result?
No, you leave it like that. Leave it.
Thank you.
Okay. So, what you thought about all the three, there's a mix of all the three, but little bit more on how leadership we come out. Okay. Now let's start with the new environment. We're talking about what changed. What has changed? Let us face it, we live a change in a drastically changed environment today. It is true for Toastmasters also. We are a group of people, as per the very first sentence of the Toastmasters, we are a group of people who are brought together to do things which we could not accomplish alone. We are a group of people brought together to do things we cannot accomplish alone. That means what we are doing at Toastmasters is something which we have to do as a group. It's a group of people. So the primary unit of Toastmasters is club. And it's the delivery system that makes Toastmasters a very unique organization in the world. Because the program, the quality of the program and the benefit to the members, individual members, is delivered through a club. And club is a place. It's not a confined individual space. Club is a people when gathered together to deliver the program and enrich themselves with the benefits out of it. So then the club environment provides a safe learning place, right evaluation, friendly support from the members, mentoring, self-development opportunity, and networking. It also helps in leadership. The one who forms the meeting, he has to look after, and along with the team and the EXCOM and others, will have to look after the various things which help them to train as a better leader. And all these are happening in the club environment where the program was getting delivered. So let's see what was the first challenge and one thing I like to quote from one of the past international presidents, Mohammad Murad. He always said, if we had not had the right training at the club, we'll not be what we are today as a club officer or as a district officer or at any level in the Toastmasters hierarchy. So what we did, even that was reinforced when Murad Nathisan as an international director came to our DTAG, and she wanted to pin the club presidents of the club from where the trio belongs to. And that was clearly an exemplifying act where you said, this is the club that developed the leaders, the caliber of our district officers. So what are the things that changed? Let's look at what are the things that changed. In-person meeting was what was the order of the day. It became virtual, and then currently it is hybrid is getting adopted in many parts of the world, and including in Qatar to some extent. So what is the one important thing here again I want to say, we are all used to routines, and routines make our life comfortable and tolerable. I was in the USA for the last 2 weeks, almost 16, 17 days. Okay, and one thing I was always wanting to do is get back to my work, come back to my home, get to be with Toastmasters or my Internal Audit Association and other activities. So you get used to one routine. Now there was a routine in Toastmasters in-person meeting. Mostly, there are virtual meetings or trainings which was also practiced, but it was about I don't know what percentage, but at least not less than 90% of the clubs had in-person meetings. So when change like this happens, it is a huge disruption. Disruption is the word that used very, very, very much during the last 1 year. So so this is virtual. What happened in the initial days when it became to virtual? On March 2020, we got a communication from Toastmasters International to have only virtual meetings. Of course, they did it with a good intention of safeguarding the lives and the health of the members. But virtual, what we did initially was to replicate in-person meeting in virtual. It cannot work. That is not the intent. Because if you make in-person meeting, a virtual meeting, a replication of in-person meeting, the technology is not used, the way we present or deliver the subject is not delivered in the meetings, whatever role we play, it's all get sort of compromised in terms of quality, in terms of the benefit that it should go to, and various other things. So a hybrid meeting now is more, it combines many things. It combines both in-person and hybrid, in-person and virtual, and it is now probably, it will last for a longer time. Even Daniel Drex in his address during the convention mentioned that whatever we learn now will continue to impact, and we should never forget it also. Whether it is using the technology, using the virtual meeting, having a hybrid meeting with new technology, maybe home type technology, and all that, we need to be more, we need to escalate that competencies and work on. What is another thing we have to do? Club experience. I mentioned the club experience. The primary objective of the Toastmasters is to provide leadership. Toastmasters leadership is to provide the best possible member experience for members to meet what they desire to become. So, I always remember one of the well-known quotes from Keith Ferrazzi, who was a Golden Gavel recipient, I think 2019. He said, we need, inside all of us is a greatness or competency or potential that we need someone else to pull it out. That someone else happens in a club where friends help friends to succeed. Networking is a huge. We are a small group of people in a club. Meet each other and network each other, become probably friends for life, to escalate your own life's potential. And in fact, many of my friends in Qatar I asked even today for 20 years, or even some of them much later, joined later, are from Toastmasters. So that networking helps you to have a quality life. Training, in a training, typical training, in a classroom training, you may have a conference, you may have, put together people, group activities, involvement with group discussions, all that got compromised to a lot. Contest. When we started, there was a Toastmaster International asked us to find out what was the contest, whether the district would like to have contest. There was some significant contestants who thought it may not be virtual, may not be their cup of tea. They were opposed to that. But today, even the contest speeches or the content in the speeches, in order to make the delivery smooth, but tailored to make it smooth in a virtual format or medium. So then, what is the third thing? The way to reach out. How to do membership? How to reach out to members? It's a big thing. The membership is not easy to come by. You cannot call us a guest. Many of them don't come in a virtual. Leadership, getting the leadership active. Because there is sometimes a fatigue in meeting many through virtual screens. So the leadership is an issue. Resources like dashboard, and resources including the manuals, the communications, the journals, all that has gone virtual. And many of us don't get time to, we were more fascinated to read a physical copy of a journal or a newsletter or other things. But we got confined to reading in the virtual screen. Awards and recognition. This is one of the biggest hits. Awards and recognitions. I not got any awards since last 2 years physically, because we never had a physical meeting. Now let us see, new studies. New studies, the ways of, it talks about the leadership. The leadership is more about care for the people. Care about people. Because what the Toastmasters, I mean, particularly in the Toastmasters, we talk about we are dealing with the people. So the care for about people becomes a critical subject. Leadership moved into the new future vision about care. In fact, Warren Buffett, of all the persons, who was the biggest investor in the world, said that positivity, honesty matters with generosity and selflessness. So he talked more about, not about money, but generosity and selflessness. LinkedIn CEO, I heard her speaking the other day. She said, it is not, leadership is not about who you are. Leadership is more about who you are and not about what you do. What you do has taken a second place than who you are. Who you are became first. That means you have to work on that. Empathy, and it's care about people, lead with empathy and support. Empathy is acting on needs. Listening, gain perspective. Gain perspective is a very important word. People normally as a leaders used to control by way of fear and sometimes intimidation, sometimes like carrot and stick. But here today the world has changed when we come to know, ask people, what are the problems? How can we help? How can we get best out of people? So foster learning environment and trust. This is another important leadership quality in Toastmasters in particular. They have to trust. Even in the virtual space, when I work, as an auditor, I need to trust now because I can't go for physical verification in many places. You need to trust people with some level of skepticism so that we are not blindly trusting. So now the next portion is about the novel road to excellence. I want to say the novel because the road to excellence we have taken and never had something to follow back, something to check on. What we are doing is right, what we can do, and what we do may result in what we want. So it was sometimes that was blindfolded. So what is the road to excellence the leaders has taken? I'm not talking on a second term or a past term. I want to take the lessons as a leadership qualities. Okay, this is my picture when I had a chance to take the Toastmasters International flag in Boston. I think of Boston. I don't remember where it was. In the international convention in front of something like 3,000 people. So this was an event that I will never forget because this happened because we did the right thing at the right time. I remember also, and I always like to tell the story when I was a table topic contestant in district from Division E, which included Qatar and Kuwait at that point of time. The question asked to me, the table topic question was, is it important to be first or right? Is it important to be first or right was the question that came as a table topic for the district DTAC, District Toastmaster Conference. And that was the first DTAC I was representing as a contestant. And this was the first event in a DTAC. We didn't even have an inauguration. And there were 500 odd people sitting. I was nervous, but I still composed and told what my answers were something. It is important to be right at the first time. That was my answer. But believe me, I didn't get placed. But after so many years, we were right at the first time. We were the district for the first time. And we did things at the right way and became the first in the world. So sometimes, what we validate, what we think becomes right. Then what happened again? We had, what we had done is right, provided it has sustainability. It is not a fluency. It was not a fluent or beginner's lab or some number game or something like that. It has to be right. And that is proved again by, I think you can see Raghavan and Dhyalan and all the three district directors after me. They have became the best district director. Now again, last year, Dhyalan super even exceeded the other two because he got more accomplishment than us. So how did they achieve? I am going for only the part of what the learning that you can take. Storm chaser. It's a very interesting word. I don't know how many of you have heard. It is something, people who travel by boat or bike or whatever it is and chase storm. And these are tornadoes, and this is why they want to chase to see something. It's a deliberate, like a forecast, if say there's a storm or a tornado, they chase it for one thing, to delight. They see the delight in viewing the unseen. That means they take risk in life to see something which is unseen. The shower, the lightning, the whole atmosphere that goes with it, tornadoes. So how did these become storm chasers, these district directors? They had the courage. Courage is an act to do what they think is right. No matter what the consequences are driven by the decisions. And innovation, they innovated in many ways to get the membership right, to make new clubs which fits to their purpose. They had the passion. Passion is compelling emotions or feeling. And the passion drives the rest of the thing. So, I always like one other thing. It says, take the head out of sand. It is something called ostrich's head in sand syndrome. Ostrich put its head in the sand, think that when fear or some enemy comes, they can't see. But we cannot be like that. These people, they took the head out of sand to look at the risk, look at the problems, look at the solutions for all that. So they are become risk takers. They didn't feel safe in hiding or putting their head down and saying, "Oh, environment has changed. We have nothing else to do. We cannot help." They worked hard to work. So any act, any act, we should have all these three aspects. So then look at what is the next thing? Lessons from the time. That means turbulent times of trouble. Clear the bad memories. We had, but we're circumventing. There is vaccine, there are solutions, there are better places. We are living in one of the best places in the world. Retain lessons. There are few lessons we learned. We have to act fastly. We have to be responsive to the people. We have to be resilient. That means ability to fight back quickly. So retain those lessons and come back to work for our benefit. Third thing, tell success stories loudly. I heard last year many events had people telling stories about how they became a weak club to strong clubs and things like that. Those success stories are worth repeating. So don't give up to the dark side, because this is the tendency people are. Even today or last 2 days ago, when I was looking at something in the Facebook, I found it popped up a message saying, "Do you want to see dark messages?" I said, no. Dark messages are including like cyber dark messages, meaning cyber security has dark people, meaning dark, not in the color, there is dark side, which means they can sell your password, they can sell some password, they can sell some important information of breaking the breaking through cyber security. And those are sold for a price. So don't give up to the dark side. So leading by doing. What is the other thing they did? Well, they led by doing. And actually, I'm not a person who I'm more of a person who gets things done. But my people, I saw year after year, the people who succeeded me, or people who work with me, they are the real doers. They pull up the sleeves and start working. They get into things, acts. Be productive. What does it mean, productive? Being productive means you become efficient, you deliver value, you get solutions. Then you practice. Practice we know even in the speech, but practice as a leader is you have a test case, you find the solution, then you replicate the solution across. So they practice it to perfection. Whatever they is right. Learn and improve. This is important thing. Learn and improve is you have to learn by being there. I like sometimes, Mansoor was a coach last year. He's a district director. He learned how to coach a club to success. Alan, I remember when he was a CGD, he gave a presentation on how to build corporate clubs. he read a Pat Johnson's book on corporate clubs, and he made an excellent presentation on how to build a corporate club. Believe me, he formed corporate clubs. That's the advantage of learning and improving and again relearning, probably unlearning. So this process should be on. Good leaders are great doers. This is another issue, another one I would like to add on this. Now, can we have the next polling question?
Shall I launch the second one?
Yeah, please. Next polling question, please. Yeah, that means it's 100% answer. That means people still like the in-person meeting. And you can close. What's your name, Najaz?
Yes, done.
Okay, done. And put the polling question number 3, please. Close this and end the poll and next one.
Yes, number 3.
Yeah. I talked about what is the most critical, ways to meet. I talked about ways to make, ways to deliver, ways to reach out, and ways to leadership. What do you think is critical? I'm doing it late because I want you to retain what I talked to you. And also there is one thing about virtual which I forgot to tell you. The virtual, the attention span is only 10 minutes. If you don't do something, 20 minutes. If you don't do something critical or restart, you are off. End the poll, please. And this shows that about 35% say way to leadership. That's also my answer. The way to leadership determines. Can you close that? Close the poll.
Yes, done.
Okay, so let's go to the next one. Oh, what happened?
Fourth question.
Yeah, fourth question, yes.
Yes.
Rajeswar, I think your presentation is no more visible.
Oh, okay. I can see it. Okay, but I will.
Please start to share again.
Okay, I'll start this one. You can see it now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, can you stop this? It says that leading by doing is more voting for leading by doing than innovation, courage to face turbulent times, or passion. I was going between leading by doing and passion. Can you stop this sharing, please?
Yes. Yes. Okay. Yeah, result actually only visible to the co-host only.
Okay.
And do I need to share with all?
I mean, it's fine. You can put it in the
yes
chat box or something like that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. So learn and improve now. Not able. Okay, you can see leads to lead. What are the things that you need to do? It is not about you. You have the self-awareness. The whole leadership is not about you. It's not that self-awareness builds the whole edifice for that. Giving more than demanding less. That means, like give and take is not same as take and give. You have to give and take. That means you give more and demand less from your fellow leaders and others. And ask, don't tell. No, don't always order others. Ask them what is that they require. Understand what motivates them. Understand where is their satisfaction. Celebrate. Celebration is very important when you achieve something, even smallest thing, attending the club officers meet, training, or even attending the area council meeting, whatever it is. Celebrate, give them an acknowledgement. So these are the things which I mentioned that it's important part of. So this is the important part of what we learned, what we did right, and the results of which is what we had. So these, every role has an opportunity being uninhibited by ego. This ego is one large. Only our past international president mentioned that keep the ego at the doorsteps. So don't come when you come into Toastmaster meeting, whether it's virtual or physical, keep the ego away. She also mentioned that no one does in the great. I think somebody has got in our this thing. Can you block him or
Post.
not?
Can you just remove this one?
Remove somebody.
Yes.
Okay. So great job, mate. And now the third part. This is the most important part, which I want to tell you. This part as what from where? What next? Where are we heading? Okay, mission drive. First thing is mission drives districts. You should know that mission drives districts. The other day I was happy to see that the mission, the club success plan or district success plan. Our ID Ali talking about it. It drives that mission. Focused mission is where the success plans are made, whether it's area or division or club or district is made. So drives this, that drives the mission, drives the district. Membership is only a tool. I will explain as I come to the presentation, the slide. March to transformation. How do you march to transformation? You reach a level. How do you do that? How do you transform? What you've taken here may not take you to the next level. So how do you transform? Minding the basics right. No matter, what you thought about your quality of leadership and where you escalated, the basics should be right. So what are the basics? We look at it. Let's look at what drives district mission. Clarity of missions. Clarity of mission provides a valuable lens to evaluate actions. Whatever actions you do, is it as per the district? What are the district missions saying? What is the district mission talk about? And what are the Toastmaster International mission about? What is the club mission about? Look at from that mission to evaluate your action. The money you spend from the Toastmaster, the resources you utilize, all that should be looked at from the mission. Exerting influence on members for tangible change. The change should be, you should be someone who influences them to change. If they don't change, there is no point in becoming a passive member. You enroll them or getting them into Toastmasters, but they are not changing. So as leader, you have to ensure that you have a plans to monitor they are making that change. Deliver powerful, personalized, timely value to each member, like training, like orientation, any other thing. Which will benefit them to think beyond what they do at the similar club atmosphere of speeches or evaluation of roles as a grammarian or timer. So what is behind all these roles? Teach them what competency they are acquiring. Are they becoming aware of the competency? Are we know about how they change themselves? So enable people to connect, to create positive outcomes. This is another one. Now the membership. I've talked about membership. I want to touch upon this a little bit more. It says membership is one of the tools for achieving mission. Many people think that membership is all about district mission. No, membership is one of the tools. There is education, there is administration, there is also training, there is also quality parameters that goes with how members, you retain the members, how you attract the members, how you sell how you position the program. So the membership is one of the tools, not everything about the Toastmaster. It can act if you have a member, every member should be aligned to a mission of the Toastmaster. Otherwise, they can become an anchor for growth. They will stop the growth. So decision to join, it's very important. Decision to join as a member is a transactional. But, they belong to Toastmaster is emotional. Ensure that they belong to Toastmaster. They just not become a member as a number. So membership is time. It takes a lot of time to find source members. Resource hungry member too, because we have so many things to achieve. And provide membership of home. This is a very important segment. Home means easy to understand what is Toastmasters all about. Operate without explicit instruction. When you reach your home, you don't need anything. You know what is kept in your drawer, what is in the kitchen or refrigerator. You know everything about your home. But that home feeling should be with every member. And have clear pathways to membership. It's seamless user experience and user experience, your UX, is today's one of the buzzwords. How member he gets his user experience and interface across the Toastmasters world. These are the this empowers individual to become better Toastmasters. So the technology there is a generation gap. Technology has changed broadly. There's a generation gap. Hugely, you have to attract those generations who will fit into. Don't be happy. Even Toastmasters International fact sheets say that the average age is 48. But where is our Gen X? Or where is the current generation of Toastmasters with us? Do we have enough nationals in our district? These are the things which will cause the membership a different, which will need a membership a different outlook. So, and collaboration, collaboration with colleges, then transformation. This is very important aspect of, again, the future. We have reached a level. We have more than 105 clubs or 106 clubs when I saw it yesterday, 105, I think. But the pangs of growth comes with the growth. Pangs means pain. Its sustainable success depends on, how do we deal with that enormity. Enormity, when you become big, you cannot have the same practices of the past. You have to look at it. You will have too little time as the leaders. It will cause you stress. It will cause you burnout. It will cause you fatigue. And that will result in absenteeism in different forms. It can be mentally absent even though physically available. So too little time. So make sure that you have enough leaders, enough subcommittees, enough people to support as volunteers. Consult, constantly putting out fires. It's a statement. It says you live for day to day. Today's problem is solved. You don't know what to do next. So that is because unless you have a long-term plan to achieve from club level onwards, long-term plans will make you make your vision to living today rightly. What you don't start today, you cannot achieve tomorrow. So if you have a long-term vision, make it explicit. Tell people, make them know about it. So then working in a bubble. That means group of isolated faction. You find many things. 7 division directors, are they doing things together so that they are not duplicating effort? They are not also, some of the unattended things are remaining unattended. So if you allowed to work in bubble, your resources are probably not fully utilized.
Yes. Can you please actually disable the annotation?
What is that?
In the sharing option, please disable the annotation.
What do you mean by that?
And there is option annotate. You can disable, remove that tick mark.
I am almost through with it, so I will not take more time.
Thank you.
Okay, I think it's okay. Too few good leaders. Again, you have to constantly look out for new leadership. So now the last one, getting the basics right. This is what I was telling you, getting the basics right. visionary leadership. It has to be there. Before that, before I go to next, can you put the next two polling questions, please?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, the question is, no one does anything great by themselves. They need what? A team, mentor, opportunity, resources. Okay, I think it's predominantly team, which is also my answer. I think you can end the poll. Nichas, you can end the poll.
Done.
Thank you. And so now that's correct. You need a team. That's what I reinforced also. Toastmasters, every leadership is a team based. That is how it is structured. You should have a team. Okay, purpose-driven culture. These are the basics, fundamentals. It's nothing new. Purpose-driven culture. What is purpose? How to get every member, what they come for as a club mission, as a very individuals, or Toastmasters International mission which says, personal and professional growth. Strong community, Toastmasters as a community should be strong, and it should, survive only, we can survive only if it is strong. Powerful branding. We have powerful branding. And the branding should be, it's a differentiation. And branding also has a brand expectations. That every club you go, you find as an international organization, it should have a similar, similar feeling, similar expectations. A person comes, should find the same level of quality and adaptability. Useful communications, one of the fundamentals. We as a Toastmaster, if we don't communicate well, we may lose it. We may lose people. We have to communicate often and purposefully so that they are in loop. They understand what is happening. They are enriched by this knowledge. And powerful, tailored value. I use the word tailored because the value for today, value for people, for me, to somebody else could be different. The value I have it today my value meaning value I expect from the Toastmasters program today could be different tomorrow. I may expect something different in my continuation as a member. So it can not only change for people at a particular, and also to change at the time the people as they progress in Toastmasters. So the tailored value is the value that you deliver to people. Now, as a closing thing, I think I'm okay with the time. We talked about new environment. We talked about new road to, the novel road to excellence, how we progress. And I mentioned about 4 important aspects of what next, what steps to take to progress further. And there's a small quote there. Life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. What we learned is from the past, with some my own tips for future, particularly tailored for our district. How we are in a particular juncture where we can look for growth, provided we are ready to change in some respect or look at it from a different perspective. So new ways to meet, new ways to deliver, new ways to reach out. We talked about new ways to leadership. We talked about storm chasers, lessons from time, and leading by, and leads to lead, and leadership calling. And finally, the leadership is a journey. Each one of us has to take our own path and get there in our own way. So it is as a leader, each one of you as a leader or in a prospective leader, or even Toastmasters are outside, we have to find our own path, take our own path and get our own way, get there in our own way. There is no standard. Whatever I said is based on the past lessons and the future outlook from my perspective, but you have to charter your own way. But these are the lessons from which you can build on, that make you think and work on the quality aspects. The goal is not to be perfect at the end. The goal is to be better tomorrow. Simon Sinek is one of the very well-known motivational speaker, and this is from Toastmasters quotes. Over to you, Rajesh, to introduce me. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm ready for the question and answer.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster. Now the question answer session is open. Let me invite question answer session host, District Admin Manager, the young and energetic, a lady of the district, distinguished Toastmaster Sabina MK.
Very warm good evening. Thank you, Program Quality Director, Distinguished Toastmaster Rajesh VC, for the nice introduction. District 116 Director, Distinguished Toastmaster Mansoor Moideen, Past District Directors DTM Tayaran Kaipalli, District Club Growth Director Ravi Shankar, our trainer of tonight, Distinguished Toastmaster Rajeswar Sundaresan. Thank you so much for an ebullient and salubrious training, rich with your deep knowledge, vast experience, and words of wisdom. I am a person who always look into your words and your leadership style, how they are served and delivered, and its impact in people. I know I'm always inspired by your words of intelligence and experience, and I'm sure the audience who gathered this evening also have the same experience. And I'm sure District 116 has also benefited from your lucrative session. This was more than we prognosticated, at least what I did. As you said, we Toastmasters also need to ask for it, ask to learn more and more. Now, it is the time to ask questions. Dear Distinguished Toastmaster Rajeshwar ji, shall we please start the question answer session? The DTM Rajeshwar Sundaresan, are you ready for the Q&A session?
Yes, yes.
The first question of tonight from Distinguished Toastmaster Michael Vader. How do you feel about servant leadership? The concept is old, but recently come back in popularity. How do you explain servant leadership? Over to you, DTM Rajeshwar.
Thank you for that's a very good question. In fact, when we look, this was probably one of the concepts which was popularized by Toastmasters International. They come out with brochures and write-ups on what does it mean and how do we practice as servant leader, particularly as a voluntary organization, professional organization. Actually, the concept remains same even today, but the time has changed. But today, because we are more of an action-oriented work, okay, we continue to be as a volunteer, not paid leadership, so the servant leadership will remain. But what I would think is whether it applies even today, it applies today, even today, but in a different format. Because today's more core leadership is about people, not that is external oriented than internal oriented. Servant leadership is internal oriented. You take like a servant and support them. Today's, I think, leadership is more of, you don't need to be as a servant or submissive, but we are more external, extrovert, and more as a role model. So it bridges little, it remains same as fundamental concept, but it cross little more on an action-oriented way. I hope I tried to answer. I hope it's okay for you.
Thank you, DTM Rajeshwar. Let's move to the next question of tonight from none other than our darling immediate past district director, Distinguished Toastmaster Tayalan Kailapalli. In District 116, mutual respect between leaders are very high. Was it developed over the years, or it just happened like that? Over to you, DTM Rajesh. Do you want to repeat the question, or it's okay?
No, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Over
But
to
when Dayalan asked, I can predict an answer. Okay. Mutual respect, it's, what I mentioned somewhere, during the presentation also, give and take is different from take and give. So you have to give respect to get respect. That doesn't just apply to, money or properties or whatever it is. It applies even for respect, or even for our own, interactions, the way we do it. So it is the mutual respect. I think it's more of a culture of this part of the world, and many parts of the world. It's even it is practiced in some places, like in Japan. When I've been to Tokyo, I found they're more respectful, more submissive, more like even in the day-to-day dealing. It is their culture is what probably they show it. So in our place, I think it is developed from the right. I know at least for 22 years. I'm in Toastmasters, so I've seen it. We have never been treated like a junior member when I was junior, or never been treated as too senior to be asked questions or to be dealt with. No, we had that space. We had developed that trust, mutual trust and respect for each other. I hope I answered your question. Sabina, go ahead.
Thank you, DTM Rajeshwar. Now we have a question am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. There is another question from IPDD. May I ask? Maybe I will ask it towards the end. There is another lot of questions actually. I don't know. It's because your session, DTM Rajeshwar. The next question: how can we keep ego in healthy shape? How can we keep ego in healthy shape? Over to you, DTM.
I think ego and healthy are. I think it doesn't go well. Both are. Ego itself is unhealthy. So we cannot say that ego and healthy is like oxymoron. You cannot have both together. Because one of the fundamental things that divides people and angers people and creates a conflict in situations is ego. So the farther you are from ego, the better. Don't think that you are near to it and you want to keep it healthy. I don't think that will work.
Thank you, DTM Rajeshwar. Next question is from Toastmaster Sashant Shamaduran. How can I become a beginner in the new setting, leaving the expertise to work hard to attain the old settings? Over to you, DTM Rajeshwar.
Oh, this need repetition. Can you please repeat?
Yeah, I will read one more. How can I become a beginner in the new setting?
Okay.
Looks like he's a new Toastmaster. Leaving or having the expertise, worked very hard to attain the old settings, and how it looks like how he can be adapted to the new, as a newcomer, how he can move forward. Such a question.
Okay. I mean, that's a good question. In fact, most of the people think that when you join Toastmasters, you are a beginner. No. Toastmasters require both beginner who are not so good at public speaking, not so good with probably the language, or not so good with the delivery, the methods. There is also other Toastmasters also equally expect or welcome people who are having expertise in that. Maybe they have done sometime. We have Toastmasters who are then masters in communications and public relations from some Australian or UK, or they join Toastmasters too. So it is not that a beginner means you are just a newbie. It's not. You come with certain scale, you show the skills, you can get into limelight, you can start contributing from day one. No one stops that. So it is not that you have comes with an expertise. You don't have to feel that, oh, you are a backbencher, you need to grow and come forward. No. You can show your skill. You can talk about the expertise you already possess to your your club or wherever you are, club or in area, and tell them you could do these things. So, there are Toastmasters, I've seen in the US, many or even in India, there are many Toastmasters are trainers. They come also for networking, but they bring a lot of benefit to Toastmasters because their being there helps many other young newbies who doesn't have any expertise or knowledge to progress. So we need mix of both. So there is nothing like senior Toastmaster or junior Toastmaster. What you are depends on the competency you possess, the capability you have, and the ability you are willing and the willingness to share your knowledge.
Thank you so much, DTM Rajeshwar. The next question is from our own past district director, Distinguished Toastmaster Raghavan Menon. As Qatar allows 15 people to gather as of now, and it may increase soon, what needs to be done to make reluctant members attend in-person meetings? Over to you, DTM Rajeshwar.
Okay. He's saying that at present it's 15 people are only allowed for a meeting or a gathering in public places like hotels or wherever it is. So how do we make reluctant members to attend in-person meeting? It's a tough call because it also means that, they may be taking care of their health, or they may be taking care of their, they may have their own reason not to attend in any public gathering. So at the interest of the health, if they want to refrain from attending, I think the option should be given to them. Because, we cannot take the risk of somebody else's health or, its own reasoning for that. So that is where hybrid meeting would come into play. So we should not unless, it could be also another case where new Toastmasters who never been to an in-person meeting may have some reservation on being in person. Such person should be pushed because unless they come to see what happens in a real Toastmasters meeting in person, what is the huge differentiation or in terms of what the vibes you get, the learnings you have, and the supportive environment for learning that it creates, that can be experienced only if he comes there. So if the other case, if the person is not coming because he never experienced an in-person meeting, it's worth pushing him, giving a role where it depends in person. In other case, we have to be careful. I suggest not to push.
Thank you, DTM Rajesh. Let's move to the next question from Distinguished Toastmaster Nirmala Raghuraman. How challenging it is for district director to follow that #1 district in the world? What mantra leaders to follow to retain #1 in the world? Over to you, DTM Rajeshwar.
Okay, thank you, Nirmala. That was a good question. If there is one answer for such a tough question, I would have been a world international president now. It's not so easy. The circumstances change. It is dynamic, and today, for example, there are 122 districts. So 6 more districts have started after we started. We had an advantage being a smaller district, smaller geographical space, and like respectful members, like Alan mentioned. We had so many things, but that is not static. All these changes. There are smaller districts than us. Even region 11 and also I think region 8, there are smaller districts. So they could also have some benefits. So the whole my presentation was based on what next, and what we had done right to retain that position for 3 years. So if you take the gist of those presentations and the points, probably we will get a solution. This is how we have to move forward. And this is based on today. what could happen tomorrow, maybe 100 people allowed. Even I am a DTAC chair for District 116. I am looking forward to do a in-person District Toastmasters annual conference with maybe 500 people. My conference had only 300 or 350. I would like this year with Mansoor 500 people. So each one, things would change. And so we have to look at such opportunities to retain. Why conference is important? Because that gives a stronger message across the country to develop more clubs, get more members. Okay.
The next question is from Toastmaster Gopi Krishnan NK. Sir, it's a wonderful, powerful, tailored session, which indeed added value to us. Can you please throw more light as a summary, as a takeaway, the most powerful message tonight to remember? Over to you, DTM Rajesh.
Okay, that's Gopi's, I know, standard. He comes out with something very, very critical. That's a very good question, very thoughtful question. I know I said about in the next steps, mission. Mission drives district. So look at Toastmasters International mission and club mission and district mission. These three has to be any action of the district. Whether it is financial commitment, resources include people. We district leaders are custodian of district's Toastmasters resources. They are custodian or steward of resources of Toastmasters International. It doesn't belong to district. Everything belongs to Toastmasters International. How, as a steward of resources, people, money, and other things, and intellectual property, how well are we using it to transform individuals and get there what they expect from Toastmasters program. So that is the mission. That is one of the reasons why I also stress that membership is only a tool. How you use the tool effectively is what matters. So the transformation steps also is, I've talked about the leadership transformation process so that the leaders act. We have good quality leaders who helps in the transformation of the district. And the basics, right? Okay, the fourth thing, the basics also help as a strong edifice for the district. So the mission drives district. So make sure that we are in line with the mission.
Thank you so much, DTM Rajesh. Do we have timer? There are 3 more questions. Do we have time for one more?
Let's take one last question.
Okay. The last question is from our immediate past district director, Distinguished Toastmaster Tayalan. You are holding a high professional job, then active in internal auditors, Toastmasters, Facebook, and you have a family, beautiful family. How do you manage without burning out? Over to you, DTM Rajesh.
Actually, one of the things I mentioned is also burnout. There's a nice saying by Aristotle. Say, if you enjoy what you do, nothing will be a work. You relish it. So what do I do? Even when I go to office, I relish what I'm doing. I never felt I worked even for a day. It was like not just for my earning or money that motivates me. The whole thing. When I do, whether as a chartered accountant or an internal auditor, whatever I do in the global audit or in the global board or the country board, immense satisfaction, because finally you think that you could leave a legacy by way of changing someone at some stage in their life. So, our purpose is lived. Like, Maya Angelou said, we don't have to do big things to leave a legacy. Even the small act of kindness or doing good for others would leave a legacy. Over to you.
Thank you so much for that wonderful answers. And now it's time for us to wind up. Million thanks for your wonderful session, Distinguished Toastmaster Rajeswar Sundaresan. I personally benefited from attending this salubrious leadership training, rising to the challenge. Lots of takeaway messages. They were indeed food for our thoughts. Tonight, we wind up this session, wonderful session organized by District 116, and expecting more and more. Thank you so much, Distinguished Toastmaster Rajeswar Sundaresan, once again, the first District 116 director, was the first world #1 district director from District 116. Now over to you, Program Quality Director, Distinguished Toastmaster Rajesh VC.
Thank you, Sabina. Thank you very much.
Rajesh, are you there?
Yeah. Thank you, Sabina, for that beautiful question and answer session. Now let us move on. Saying gratitude is always something special. For doing that special honor, we have a very special person who is tall and handsome, simple and humble, calm and composed. I've been serving in various leadership roles for the last many years. Past division director, past district admin manager, and currently serving as club growth director of world #1 district. There's none other than our club growth director, Toastmaster Ravi Shankar, to propose vote of thanks. Put our hands together to welcome him.
Thank you, Program Quality Director, Distinguished Toastmaster Rajesh. It's my pleasure to take the privilege to thank Sir Distinguished Toastmaster Rajeswar, District Director, Distinguished Toastmaster Mansoor Mohiddin, Program Quality Director, DTM Rajesh, immediate past District Director, Distinguished Toastmaster Tayalan, past District Director, DTM Raghavan, today's gracious presence, Distinguished Toastmasters, Rajeswar Sundaresan Sir, District Leaders, and my dear friends, I take an enormous pleasure today. You know something, my mentor, Sampath, used to tell me, Ravi, visit to a Toastmaster club is something like 12 visits to a library, a dozen of visits. And today's experience was no less for me. I have a habit of, I'm a student of Rajeshwar in many days. Wherever he goes, I follow and pick up. And today it was very tough for me to thank him for today, just today, or for culminating a big change in us. Because today's topic, when he said the next step, was something really District 116 required. We have been growing year after year gradually. And now as we grow, the challenge is also very big. So rising to challenge to learn and proceed, as Mr. Rajeshwar put, sir, the many takeaways you gave for us, insights. Many of us have got experienced, but the biggest thing is we have to learn. It's very important. We can understand life only living backward, learning from backwards, and while living in forward direction. That was a big thing for us. And the steps involved, you took the new environment, novel to excellence, and the next steps. It was a very enlightening session for us in this evening and much required. And I would say it has instilled a great sort of experience to all of us to introspect in whatever position we do, be a member, a club leader, a district leader, a lot of things which is crystallized in our mind, thought process, we can achieve much more, and there is room for us. And the amount of questions which bombarded back to you, it only shows people are just glued to your session today. It was an experience, and it is a gift. You belong to District 116, Distinguished Toastmaster Rajeswar Sundaresan. Good leaders are great doers. Leadership is all about who you are. That's a very, for me, I take it very by heart. All the words, what you give to me. And leadership is a journey. And we all tell in Toastmasters in general evaluation, we have a practice of learning by doing. Today, sir, you taught us leading by doing. That's the one big takeaway I took from you today. Thanks for that. And District 116, what next? It's an important topic today Rajeshwar gave us. And it's a thought process. We start from here today to keep the pole position safe for us next year too. On this occasion, I'd like to thank Toastmaster Nijas. You had supported today in the evening very powerfully. We had somebody interested, too much interested in caricature while Rajeswar sir was presenting, jumped inside. You came in right time to rescue and you managed the situation. Thank you, Nijas. Well, very well done. And the person who took us today kept on our toes to time, to consciousness. Deepak Talreja, thank you to you very much. And for a moment, I thought Sabina took my role, thanking everybody. She took all these curtains very fast. Sabina, you did a very good job today, question and answer session. One of the best sessions our district has seen in asking the questions, putting it profoundly to the trainer. A good job by you. Thanks to you, distinguished Toastmaster Sabina. And overall, my dear audience, today who attended, I would say it's a big learning leaf in our learning path in Toastmasters. On that note, I take the privilege and permission of District Director to adjourn this special session. Thank you, sir, distinguished Toastmaster Rajeswar Sundaresan. I adjourn this session special.
Thank you so much.